Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Let's get a quick check of where markets settled out today's session about 37 minutes ago. And as we can see, a lot of green across the screen. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up more than 650 points, just at that 2% mark. The S&P 500 also up about 2.6% or 107 points. And the NASDAQ Composite, the big winner during today's session, up about 3.6%. So volatility at least temporarily subsiding across major U.S. equity markets. We'll see where things stand tomorrow.
Well, while operating a trading platform provides a whole new perspective for retail investor protections, directing football operations at the collegiate level, that offers its own perspective for educating the next wave of athletic talent and also how to manage finances in the era of new name, image, and likeness deals. So joining us now for a wide-ranging discussion and perhaps how to draw some parallels is Joe Moglia, who's the former TD Ameritrade chairman and CEO and Coastal Carolina University executive director of football. Plus, joining us for this conversation, we've got Yahoo Finance's Dave Briggs. And so it's good to have you back here with us, Joe. Perhaps where we dive in, what do you believe is the prevailing thought among retail investors during the markets that we've been tracking over these past few sessions, during volatility of the past few weeks, even despite a major update that we've seen here?
I think, Brad, I think they're pretty much unsettled. I think we've got, a war going on that we haven't had recently. It's really serious. We've got a Russian dictator that is incredibly unpredictable, regardless of what he winds up saying. And the markets have been in a very, very difficult environment. You've got major sector allocation changing from what's been in place in the past. You've got oil at like 10, 12-year highs. So I think the typical retail investor that is not disciplined, that is not thinking strategically, I think they're in a turmoil. They're concerned. I think they have anxiety.
Joe, on your LinkedIn bio, you say always looking for the next big win. So retail investors are looking for that next big win. What are you telling them?
I think, Dave, it depends on what kind of investor they are. So I think there are really three types. There's a buy and hold type. And over any 3 to 5 year period, the United States markets have always done pretty well. So you're okay, but you're going through a difficult period right now. Then you've got what I call the long-term investor, but that person winds up doing a little better job of managing the portfolio. So into strength, they'll trim a bit. On weakness, they'll be adding. Now, that type of investor, probably if they're paying attention to what's going on, which they should be, they would be making some sector allocation changes. The danger with that is that when you're ready to buy something, it's already gone up because you're making a change. When you're ready to sell something, it's already gone down. And you have to have the guts to do what you believe is the right thing at that moment of time and buy or sell, even though it's been up or down. Then you've got the day trader, of course. The day trader doesn't care what's going on in the world, doesn't care about geopolitical issues, doesn't care what's going on in inflation, doesn't care. The day trader has done very well in our history, in the late 90s and currently, because the markets have done well. The day trader, if he or she's going to continue to do well and the market environment is difficult, they probably better be short. And they should definitely not hold the position overnight. But I think that's what's going on with the three different types of investors. They're all different.
What are the sectors that look most appealing to you right now, Joe?
Well, I think right now, just based on what's going on, I think I like industrials first. Within industrials, defense, national defense. I think you got to like energy, but energy is kind of still through the moon as far as its highs goes. But unless things get solved and with Russia and Ukraine quickly, that's going to continue to go up. Commodities should continue to go up. I like healthcare. I think there's no reason why healthcare shouldn't do reasonably well over the spend the next year or so. And I don't think you can ever get away from technology. I really don't believe that. And when technology is going down, I think that that's a real buying opportunity. But there'd be the sectors I'd be focused on now.
So a diverse portfolio. To your diverse background, we mentioned you're the head football coach at Coastal Carolina, the executive director of the football program. You were also the head coach in the United Football League, which, quite frankly, I didn't know existed. I ask about that because the USFL and the XFL are trying to go again, make another run at another professional football league. Does either have a legitimate chance at success financially, or is it just a waste of time?
Dave, not based on history. So the UFL was really a great league. The last year was the first year I was involved with that as head coach. It was 2011, and it was the third year of the league. And the reason why we went out of business is because the people that owned it did a horrible job of managing finances. The commissioner would also be guilty of that. But in that league, it was Jimmy Fossil, New York Giants, you had Denny Green, Minnesota Vikings, you had Jerry Glanville, and you also had Marty Schottenheimer, who's the fifth winningest coach in the history of the NFL. So you had pretty good, and then you had me. You had pretty good people there. 2/3 of my team had played in the NFL, and I had 2 Heisman Trophy winners play for me at quarterback. And we didn't make it because it was poorly run. Now, I do think there's a model that you could put into place that potentially would work. But so far, that hasn't happened.
Joe, now you got things there.
That one to me is a little bit, that's going to make it tough.
You know, if it wasn't already tough before, that certainly does add another layer and element to it. Joe, we got to leave things there on the day, but we always appreciate the time having you on. Got to have you back to continue this conversation. It's Joe Moglia, who is the former TD Ameritrade chairman and CEO and executive director of football over at Coastal Carolina University. You also heard from Yahoo Finance's own Dave Briggs during that conversation.